We've seen many celebrities step inside the squared circle of the WWE. It's very entertaining, and over the last few years, it's been happening more frequently than it used to. We've got actors, YouTubers, professional boxers, and now we've got NBA stars wanting to try pro wrestling as well. The 2004 #1 pick, Dwight Howard, has expressed interest in wanting to be a WWE superstar once he's done with his basketball career, and it's got people talking. Let's take a look. First up, the Lakers star showed up at the WWE Tryouts. It was SummerSlam week, and the WWE was having tryouts in Nashville. Howard, who's currently a free agent, was at those tryouts, and he was very excited to be there. When asked about how he felt about the WWE, he said that he's a fan and loves wrestling. He was thankful for the opportunity to be there. Adding to that, the three-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year said that he would love to be a WWE superstar once he's done with his career in the NBA. Now, you may think that he just wants to show up and have a nice moment inside the ring. Well, that's not it. He wants to do it the right way. Howard said that he'd love to be inside the iconic ring and hold a WWE title in his hands. This should tell you how seriously he'll take it if he actually makes it into the WWE. Having a moment at a big event or an exciting match is one thing, but becoming a champion means he'll try to stay for a long time. We haven't seen a celebrity holding a title too many times. The exception would be the 24/7 title, but when it comes to the major belts, they all hold a certain prestige. But can you imagine how awesome it would be if he actually became a champion? Is that something you'd be in favor of? Let us know in the comments. Next up, will he be playing in the next season of the NBA? At 36 years of age, the NBA champ is currently a free agent. He played for the LA Lakers in the last season, but his performance wasn't quite up to par. He had a career low average of 6.2 points per game and 5.9 rebounds. It's hard to say at this point, but there's a good chance that he might not be picked by any team in this year's draft. If that's the case, would that be the end of Dwight Howard's career? We're sure that that's not the way he wants to go out. In an interview, Howard mentioned that he'd still like to play in the major leagues. He said he loves basketball and that it's his true passion. The former Lakers star is aware that his performance wasn't up to the mark in the last season, but he still believes he's got a lot left to give. Dwight thinks that he can play for a few years. His main goal is to end his career on a high note. Maybe if he doesn't get picked up, he'll start being a part of the WWE quicker than we thought. He just wants to finish his career on his terms and then make the transition into pro wrestling, which he called the best business in the world. Some people were a little skeptical on the internet about whether or not he'll be able to make the transition properly in his late 30s. But when you're an athlete like him, it doesn't seem like that big of a stretch. Up next, Triple H reacts to Dwight Howard's tryout. Looks like the 8-time NBA All-Star made quite the impression on the head of talent acquisition of the WWE, Triple H. Howard cut a nice promo, and he had a lot of fun interacting with all the fans in attendance. Hunter saw that, and as a guy who's got an eye for talent, he recognized that he saw something special. Triple H said that Howard is from the Shadow Realm. The guy just showed up and flicked everyone like a booger. The WWE legend thought that the NBA star did an amazing job. Howard was appreciative of the compliments he received and said that when he becomes part of the WWE, he'll do the best that he can. For those of you who missed the big news, Triple H has now taken over the executive task of running the WWE. Vince McMahon finally decided to step down at the age of 76, following a huge and messy scandal. Paul Michael Levesque, better known as Triple H, has been doing a tremendous job of running the NXT developmental brand. You've seen many superstars make their way into the main roster and even become champions. Yeah, he's got to fill some big shoes, but he's more than ready. Other related news. First up, Logan Paul makes a splash at WWE. Yes, we mean that literally. The older Paul brother has been involved with the WWE for about a year now, and it was a couple of months ago when the WWE announced that Logan would be a part of the WWE roster. What started out as a celebrity guest appearance turned into a contract, which, let's be honest, must be worth millions of dollars. Logan's tag team match at WrestleMania had great reviews. Fans loved his in-ring persona, and his background in amateur wrestling really gave him the athleticism to perform like a WWE superstar. We knew back then that we were going to see him in the ring again, which we did against none other than the A-lister, the Miz. The two of them were a tag team at WrestleMania against Rey Mysterio and Dominic until Miz decided to turn on Logan after the match ended. This led to a series of entertaining promos and a build-up which was settled by a match at SummerSlam. The Miz did a great job of putting Logan over, and the YouTuber turned wrestler was too busy stealing the show. Moonsaults off the ring, standing moonsaults, a frog splash off the top rope onto a table. The guy looked like he'd been doing this for years. The match ended with a skull-crushing finale by Logan, which is Miz's finishing move, and Logan emerged victorious as the ultimate babyface. Who would have thought we'd be seeing this, huh? Love him or hate him, you've got to admire the man's commitment. He isn't just doing WWE for publicity, he's really showing up. Next up, the Tribal Chief emerges as the last man standing. It was SummerSlam, and we needed a big match to end the night. What's the biggest match you could make in the WWE right now? We all had the same guess, probably. It's Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief has been holding the belts for well over a year now. We've seen him in there with everyone. Frankly, we've even seen the match with Lesnar too many times. Reigns was scheduled to face Randy Orton, but there had to be a replacement, which led to another one of these classics. But don't worry about it, this one absolutely delivered. Lesnar showed up to the ring riding a massive red tractor, which no one could make any sense of. Gotta say, this Cowboy Brock gimmick is really working. This was a last man standing match, so as you'd expect, there was a lot of destruction of property and interruptions from the USOS. One of the highlights of the match was Brock doing an F5 on Paul Heyman, a man he once considered a dear friend. But the biggest spot we got to see was Lesnar picking the ring apart with the tractor. Yes, that happened on live television. At the end of it, Reigns emerged victorious after burying Lesnar under the announcement table and standing on top of it. After SummerSlam went off air, fans posted a video of Brock climbing on top of the arched ring and having a good time with the fans. Some people suspected that this might be the last time we see the Beast inside the WWE ring. Brock had a great relationship with Vince McMahon, who frankly let him do whatever he wanted. Remember WrestleMania a few years ago, after he beat Reigns for the Universal title? There was a video afterward that showed Brock throwing the big red belt in Vince's face without any real consequences. We don't know how Triple H will deal with Lesnar. The two also have a bit of on-camera history, but we don't know how they work with each other off-camera. Let's just hope they find a way to make it work. And finally, Big E talks about potentially being retired. The former WWE champion Big E has been on the sidelines due to a major injury, and it looks like he might not step in the ring ever again. In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Big E talked about how the injury has affected his life and how he's dealing with it physically and mentally. The former New Day member said that he's content with his career if he doesn't get to step in there again. These days, he's involved in talent recruitment, so he's still a part of the WWE. He said that there was a point in time where he would have loved to die while doing what he loved, but he's matured a lot and wants to live a long life. It's great to see that the big guy has a really healthy attitude about his situation. That's a wrap for this video. How well do you think Dwight Howard would perform in the WWE? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.